Good evening, everybody. I'm Derek Michaud. It's time to go flush in the pocket. Once again, presented by Brunswick, sponsored by Just in Time Recreation. Check them out at justintimebowl.com. And we were supposed to do this last night, but that's okay. Because, like I said, when I do these podcasts, I interview actual professional bowlers, professional athletes. So they might be bowling, they might be nervous, they might be, nobody has actually postponed or canceled because of nerves or anything like that. But we had to postpone last night's to tonight, and we're going to bring on our guest right now. He is up and coming PBA star Anthony Lavery Spar. His brother Sean Lavery Spar. They bowl on tour together. So let's bring him on. Anthony, how are you, sir?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. So, you were a little nervous last night. You're kind of scared, camera shy. Hey, let's do it tomorrow night. Actually, no, you were bowling a regional. How did that go? And awful.
Yeah. So when I told you yesterday, 8:00 would be fine. Generally our regionals start at 2:30 and we're done by 7. So I was like, oh, it'll be perfect. I'll get done bowling. We can talk a little bit about bowling and then be done. And then we bowled the Pro-Am Friday night and it never really even clicked to me. I was like, oh, I knew I was on B squad. And then the next morning I went in and I was like, how are they in game 4? I went in and like, oh my God, I forgot we have 5 on a pair this week because it's a small center. Then I looked and realized we didn't bowl till 3:30, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm not going to be by 8. So yeah.
So what was the format of the regional?
Just so 8 games. Cut the top 24. Top 24 bowled 6 games. They cut to 12. And then I think it was another 6 games and just cut to 4, I believe, and then it was a stair step. Yeah. But it was only a 16-lane center, so
okay.
That's why he had to do 5 on a pair. So
no, totally get you. And your performance was?
It was pretty abysmal, honestly. I didn't bowl very good, honestly. I left a bunch of balls. We have to fly to Vegas for the Masters,
right?
And we bowled on the same pattern that we bowled on at the Players Championship that I bowled really, really well at the first PBA event of the year. And so I kind of game planned what I was going to leave on the truck to transport to Vegas, and what I was going to bring home to be able to use at the regional. And unfortunately, pretty much everything that I did was wrong. They played way, way different. They were way harder. The fronts hooked a ton. And so basically, I didn't really feel like I had the right stuff. The urethane wasn't good at all. And so I made sure to bring home a few urethane balls and actually left a couple more reactive balls on the truck. And urethane was awful. So that eliminated quite a few balls that I had. And then I didn't bowl very good, and then didn't feel like I had a ton of options with bowling balls, didn't feel like I had the right bowling balls. And so it was just all collectively a pretty poor effort on my part.
Yeah. Now, you're forgive me for asking, you're a one-hander, two-hander? One-hander, right?
Yeah, I bowl one-handed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So before you were bowling regionals, it all had to start somewhere. How did you get started bowling?
So I didn't actually start bowling until I was 14. I played baseball all the way through middle school and start of high school. And honestly, just a buddy of mine that I played baseball with, his mom ran the Saturday morning youth league. And so he was like, hey, you want to try something different on Saturday mornings? You want to come bowl? Because, we weren't playing on Saturday mornings at the time. And I was like, man, I'll try something different. I like bowling. I like going. It's fun. And so the first year I ever bowled, I actually averaged 160. And I was better than pretty much all of them that had been bowling since they were kids. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to take this a little more seriously and whatever. And then the second year I ever bowled, I averaged 210. And I was like, oh, wow, like I'm actually, pretty good at this. And like I picked it up really quick and was learning a lot. And the third year I ever bowled, I averaged 235 and was like, I can, I won the state singles title for high school that year. Won a couple of tournaments, and I was like, man, I'm actually like got pretty good at this pretty fast. I was like, maybe let's really, really buckle down and see what we can do with this. And that's kind of where it all took off and kind of how it started. And we've just kind of been going on from there.
How did you do that? I mean, because that is okay, 160, 210, 230. I mean, how did you get so good so fast?
I practiced a lot. I'm one of those people that I don't like being bad at anything.
Right.
And it's actually like, it's kind of almost to the point that it's almost a flaw, because I'm just really competitive, and like I don't like not being good at something. And so if I like find something that I enjoy doing, I put in a lot of effort to at least be above average at it, because like when I play with my friends or like go do it or whatever, like I like at least being competent and being able to hold my own. And for me, like bowling's just I pitched playing baseball, and so like bowling to me, it's just a lot of hand-eye coordination. It's throwing a ball, hitting your target, releasing the ball correctly. And so like, pitching for 10 years in baseball, it's kind of a lot of the same thing. You're throwing a ball at a target, and you have to release it a specific way depending on what pitch you're throwing. And so to me, bowling isn't really a ton different. It's just a lot of hand-eye coordination, a lot of, keeping your hand in the right spot, being able to hit your target in front of you. And so to me, it felt very similar when I started. And so to me, when I first started, it felt, relatively, I don't want to say easy, but it felt, not hard when I started. And so it was, felt pretty easy to progress from there. And then I got pretty fortunate too when I was a kid that I had two really, really good coaches that coached me the right way. They didn't let me mess around when I was at the bowling center. They made me practice. Like there was no messing around. It was like when you're up here and you're practicing, like you're practicing. And so I practiced the right way for, almost 2 years straight. And I was up there 3, 4, 5 times a week. And, so I put in a lot of work and a lot of effort, and it was all done pretty much the right way. And so that's how I felt like I got pretty good, pretty fast at it, honestly.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about who coached you in a second, but how quickly did you learn like the bowling terminology, like how the pros talk on tour today? Like how quickly did you learn, that language?
That was the stuff that took a lot longer, because there's a lot to learn there. And so like probably up until I would say about 22, I was really, really good on the house shot. And I was good on patterns, but I wasn't like super, super like, oh, you can go bowl on tour or bowl regionals or things like that. I was good, but it wasn't like awesome. And then I was like, okay, well, like now I need to buckle down and really learn more to the game on like how to bowl on the patterns, like more about bowling balls and whatever. And so probably when I was 21 or 22 is when I like really, really was like buckling down, trying to learn. And a buddy of mine I used to bowl a lot of tournaments with, Ted Fritz. He taught me a lot about bowling. Honestly, he taught me a lot about patterns and layouts, and a whole lot of different things. And I probably don't give him enough credit, for where I'm at as well. But he was a big part of what I've been able to accomplish too. And, just picking things up along the road. Chris Barnes lives here, and I practice with him a lot and have practiced with him a lot. So I've learned a ton from him. And then things my brother learns, we share information with each other. And so, I'm still learning to this day. I mean, to this day, I don't know everything about everything,
Sure.
And so it's just picking stuff up as you go along, and just, finding knowledge and finding things that work for you. And so, just different bits and pieces here and there.
Has Chris taught you how to balk yet? No.
Oh my God, you should have seen me last year when I had these issues with my ear and all that stuff. Man,
Okay.
I was balking 10, 12 times a tournament. So
Man.
I think at anything at this point, I think I've showed him how to do it.
Okay, so this is kind of fascinating because nobody I've ever interviewed has started as late as you have, and the way that you have. What was the easiest thing that you picked up before you were a pro? when you were learning how to be a good bowler? And what's the toughest thing that you learned when you're trying to figure out how to be a good bowler?
The hardest thing for sure is the spare shooting.
Sure.
And I mean, it's probably to this day still the thing that I'm not the best at. And I still work really hard to improve
Mm.
because they're so, you have to have a system and it's different for different things. And, it's like you can't shoot the 2-pin the same way you shoot the 4-pin, and you can't shoot the 3-pin the way you shoot the 10-pin. And so you almost have to have a different system for everything that you leave. And so it's like every spare is almost like its own entity. And so that to me is really the hardest thing, is developing your system for how you're going to shoot spares. Probably honestly the easiest thing that for me to pick up as far as like something that's hard was actually moving way, way far left, like, and being able to loft it and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people struggle when they get, so far left. And for me, like, I didn't hook it a lot when I started. But once I really learned how to get my hand under it and how to hook it, like, the moving left part was really never an issue. And then the lofting part was never really an issue. Like, that part of my game was like probably the easiest thing that's actually difficult to do. But that was probably the easiest thing for me to learn, was actually like the getting left, the getting in front of the ball return, the lofting it when you're that far left. Like, that was probably the easiest thing for me to pick up as far as something that's actually pretty difficult to do.
What were your thoughts on Boog doing what he had to do last week? And I mean, he got a lot of flack that he didn't deserve, but what were your thoughts on that telecast?
Yeah, I mean, I will say it's like any other sport. I mean, we sit here and I sit here as, a basketball fan and a baseball fan and whatever, and I criticize people when I couldn't go out there and do what they do, but that's what we do when we watch sports. And so, the criticism that he's getting is honestly, it's just part of sports. And I'll be honest with you, I'm one of Boog's biggest fans. I made a Facebook post 2 or 3 years ago about Boog being the most underrated bowler in our region, and how I don't believe he gets anywhere near the respect that he deserves for how good he is. And I am thrilled that he won, and however you win is however you win. I mean, is it unfortunate that he threw a few Brooklyns to win? I mean, yeah, you don't want to win that way at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, the kid's bowled incredible all year.
Yep.
He bowled incredible to get to that point. And you have to get lucky. I mean, either you dominate a tournament from start to finish, or you get a little bit lucky here and there along the way to get there. And what people don't see is they don't see people throwing at Brooklyn to win game 5 of a best of 7 match, and then they end up winning the match because they won that game. They don't see the guy in round robin that throws 2 Brooklyns to win one of his round robin matches, but then only makes the show by 10 pins because he won that match. So people don't see all that stuff during the week. And that's where I think bowling's unfortunate, is that people don't get to watch the process during the week of how to get there a lot of the times, because, people can't tune in for that many hours a day for that many days. And so they don't get to see a lot of the whole process from start to finish. They only see the one game on TV, and they don't realize how amazing Boog bowled to get there. Not only to get there, but how good he's bowled all year. I mean, honestly, probably the past 2 years, really. And, to boil it down to a couple shots, that's not how he won the tournament. He won the tournament because he deserved to win.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, like, I do consider Boog a friend of mine.
Yep.
We as bowlers need to be better about allowing people to voice their opinions and criticizing things without jumping on them and attacking them, because we're all guilty of the same thing. I sit here and yell at the TV when I'm a huge Patriots fan. I've been a Patriots fan since I was a kid. Even when Tom Brady was, the quarterback, I'd sit here and yell at the TV at Tom Brady for throwing an interception, but I know I can't go out there and do what he's doing, but that's just what we do as sports fans. And people criticize and they voice their opinions, and, they say things. And I just think as bowlers, we need to get better about not jumping on there and attacking those people for voicing their opinions, criticizing somebody's performance, because we all do it. We yell at the TV about somebody making a bonehead play in basketball. I mean, how many times has the Mark Sanchez butt fumble been replayed on TV and people make fun of that? And that's just the sports environment when you're in the spotlight. And I think that we have to get better about jumping on Facebook and attacking those people who are voicing those opinions, because honestly, it's just part of the sports world. It's any celebrity-ish status when you're in the spotlight like that.
Yeah, and I get it because I'm a huge Bruins fan, so I yell at the TV,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm glad I could see your hands that you're not on the exit button, because I'm going to tell you I'm a Cowboy fan. So hey, thanks for
Oh
talking to a
yeah, I mean
Cowboy
that's
fan.
fine. I mean the Cowboys, being a Patriots fan, the Cowboys have never been relevant to me, so it's okay. I don't, I mean, people support who they support. The only thing I have a hard time tolerating is the Yankees fans, and I have two of my best friends are Yankees fans. But I mean,
Yeah.
we let people slide for having bad taste. It's okay.
Where are you guys from? New England?
Yeah, so I grew up in Rhode Island when I was a kid.
I
I lived in Rhode Island until I think we were like 8, and we moved.
oh,
And then we've lived in Texas pretty much. We lived in Michigan for about 7, 8 months after living in Rhode Island.
mhm.
But then, yeah, we've lived in Texas since I was probably about 9, I believe. So I've been
Yeah.
down here for quite a while, but I did grow up when I was younger in Rhode Island.
So going to Portland, that's a home game for you. That's awesome.
I got a little bit of family. I was fortunate. My mom got to go twice. My dad got to go once. My uncle got to come up once, and we've had a lot of friends and stuff come. So I mean,
Mhm.
Portland's still probably 2.5, 3 hours away from Warwick, where I grew
Mhm.
up. I
Mhm.
think, and maybe closer. I'm not really sure, but
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, I don't have a ton of family up there anymore, but we definitely still have some up there, and I've been fortunate that they've got to come out and watch when we were up there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, who coached you along the way to, you mentioned uh you mentioned one person, but I mean, was he the one that coached you, or who kind of took you under their wing?
So growing up, I had two coaches, Gene Cope and Bobby Browder. Probably nobody that you've heard of or would know, but
Mhm.
two people. They were very good are still very good bowlers in the Pasadena area where my parents still live. And Bobby used to be a regional player back in his time, and Gene's a very very good player and bowled a lot of the women's stuff, and is a very very pretty well known coach as well. And basically they took me under their wing when I was a kid, and when I really decided I wanted to learn how to bowl, and they did pretty much everything to teach me how to bowl.
So before you got into bowling, because I didn't realize you got into bowling at 14. That's kind of late for
Mm,
bowlers, I guess. But when you were a kid, did you dream of being a pro bowler? Like, did you watch the tour before you started actually bowling, or did you dream about being on tour? If not, what did you want to do as growing up?
no, I knew nothing about bowling before I was probably 15 years old.
Okay.
Even the first year I bowled, I never watched it on TV. I didn't know anything about it. So probably when I was about 15 is when I actually started watching it on TV and things like that. No, I played baseball growing up. I played baseball. I played year round. That was my life growing up. And so I pretty much was devoted to that. And, pretty much had the same dream as a bunch of other kids, being a pro baseball player. So
Mhm.
that was my thing from basically the time I could walk to probably when I was 15 when I stopped playing.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was my thing for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of matches on YouTube that you should check out, because that were kind of before your bowling time. But you should
Yeah.
definitely. Oh man,
I've
so many
probably
of them.
gone back and as I've progressed and watched a lot of bowling, I've probably seen the majority of them. I
Mhm.
became probably from the time I was
Whoa, we there? Hold on.
or
Oh, hold on. You there, bud?
yeah.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
probably from the time I was 18 to 24. I watched so much bowling and all the YouTube shows. I went back and watched a lot of it. So I've probably seen the majority of them because
Mhm.
I watched for that about 6 year stretch. I watched so much bowling on YouTube.
Yeah. All right. So what did you accomplish in your bowling life that made you ready to try the tour and think you could be successful?
So when I was, it was 2015.
Mhm.
The year before, I had made a Facebook post. We had won nationals the year before, We won the team event at USBCs, and we set the record. And I'd made a post that year about the Masters and how I wish I could go bowl, essentially. And the beginning of 2015, they had the Masters and the Masters in Green Bay and the TOC in Indy. And a couple of my buddies here offered to sponsor me to go bowl. And so they took care of the entry, took care of the travel, did all that, and was pretty fortunate that, they had enough belief in me to go give it a shot. And I went and bowled the Masters in Ashwaubenon when it was in Green Bay.
Yep.
And I finished ninth. I finished in the 9th through 12th slot. I made the bracket, pretty high seed. Won my first 3 matches, and then had a pretty good match with Belmo in the round of 8. I think he was the defending champion at that point, or 2-time defending. But I actually bowled him in the 4th round of the winners bracket, and he beat me. And then I ended up losing my next match as well. And then, so I had a good week. I finished 9th through 12th. It was the first major I'd ever bowled, I believe. And so we moved on to the next week at the TOC, and went and bowled the TOC at Woodland Bowl. And I made the top 24. I made round robin. I don't remember exactly where I finished. I finished like somewhere like 19th to 21st. It wasn't awesome, like by any means, but made the top 24, bowled okay. And that was kind of the moment that I was like, I think I can do this. Like, I bowled 2 majors. I finished in the top 24 of both of them. Pretty sure I finished in the top 20 of both of them. If not, I finished like 21st, 22nd at, TOC, but it was up there. And I was like, man, I think I can go do this. And that kind of is what kickstarted everything.
Well, 2015 Masters, that's the year that Pete Weber had the whole towel incident with Belmo. That was that's interesting.
That was the year. That was the year Belmo knocked me out, or Belmo beat me in the round of 8. The round of 8 in the winners bracket. I think he beat me like 690 to 660 or something like that.
What was your first experience being on a shirt or ball staff?
2015. That first year, 2015, I actually signed with 900 Global right before I went to bowl the Masters and bowl the TOC. I believe Dell at the time had reached out to Dino Castillo and was looking for somebody for a global staff position. And this was right when 900 Global had relaunched. And Dell, I think, asked Dino if he knew anybody that wasn't on staff that he thought would be a good fit. And from what I recall, Dino recommended, like, hey, I think Anthony would be a really good fit. He's never been on ball staff. Going to start bowling some tour events. A good regional player. I had 2 regional titles, I think, already at the time. Had the Eagle from Nationals and the record. Had won a bunch of stuff. And so Dell actually gave me a call and gave me my first opportunity to be on 900 Global staff in 2015. And, I'm very thankful for everything that they did for me, because without them, nothing would have been possible. And so even being on a different staff now, I'll still forever be grateful for them giving me that first opportunity, because it built the platform for me to start my career.
And we're talking about the Dell Ballard Jr.
Yeah, the Dell, because Dell lives in Fort Worth, and so Dell was looking for somebody kind of in the DFW area, because our bowling community is just so big, and so Dell was looking for somebody in the area to start the 900 Global brand, as somebody to be a staffer. And Dino had told him, like, hey, he's really good and he's bowling and he's going to bowl tour stuff, and I think this is a good opportunity. And so TJ Resty at the time was the 900 Global sales manager rep, and he gave me a call a couple of days later, and we offered me a really solid contract for being my first contract, and signed it, and that was kind of where everything took off.
Yeah. How did you get to join the Brands of Brunswick?
A lot of it had to do with AJ Chapman and Dino. Just something that I felt like could help me take a step forward in my career. I felt like for a while there I was really close. Man, I have so many finishes in the sixth to ninth range. Made a couple of shows. Was bowling pretty well
Mm-hmm.
for quite a few years, and then I just felt like working with them and getting to work with Dino and a lot of the guys up there at Brunswick. I felt like it created an opportunity for me to really elevate what I already did, and unfortunately, not for any particular reasons other than a lot of it has to do with health issues and things like that. Things obviously haven't panned out quite the way that I had imagined, and it's no fault of anybody's. It's just unfortunately the last year and a half has been pretty much plagued with health problems and things of that nature. So
Yeah.
we're trying to we have glimpses of getting back to where we were. I thought starting in Wichita, finishing 10th in Wichita at the first major of the year. I thought we were pretty well back on track, and then things have kind of just been all over the place. So we're trying and we're working, and it's just hard when your health's involved and
Oh yeah.
things just can't ever seem to get squared away.
Yeah. Can we know anything you want to share, like what happened or anything? I mean,
Yeah, I have no issue talking about it at all. So basically, in January of last year in 2023, I had started developing some balance issues, some dizziness. I was having some bad headaches. Um, was basically couldn't hear out of my left ear. Was having some numbness in my face, in my head. Went to the doctor in January, and they basically told me I was fine. Just basically almost blew it off. They told me I was good to go. There was no issues. They didn't know what was going on. Um, and kind of dealt with it all year. It was kind of a emotional and not very fun year to say the least.
sure.
I went to the hospital 3 times during the tour season last year while we were on tour.
Mm.
Probably 3 or 4 doctor's visits. Because I mean, nobody knows your body the way you do, and it's just like
Sure.
I knew something was wrong. I couldn't sleep. I was in a lot of pain. I was literally constantly feeling like I was just going to fall over from being dizzy. And like, I just knew, I knew there was an issue, and, I didn't know if it was catastrophic, if it was somewhere in the middle, like I didn't know. And so tried to bowl the best that I could last year, even with all that stuff going on. And it was pretty much a disaster. I got home in the beginning of May, and I got very fortunate that an ear, nose, and throat specialist was willing to see me without a referral, because I couldn't even get a referral from anybody because everybody kept telling me I was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, he took a look, told me he was pretty sure what the problem was, and then he ended up sending me to another specialist. And that specialist looked, and then he ended up doing a CT scan, and he found basically what's called a cholesteatoma behind my left eardrum. And basically, what it is it's a cyst that's infected,
Mm-hmm.
and it grows on one of your ear bones behind your eardrum, and it grows into your middle ear, and it's basically constantly seeping an infection into your head. And so the infection from the cyst had basically spread into my sinuses, into my cheek, and into the side of my head. And then that cyst was still there and growing. And so that was what was causing, the numbness in my face and the headaches, and then the cyst itself being in my middle ear and having problems in my middle ear, and an infection was causing the balance issues and the dizziness and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then so in September, yeah, beginning of September, the middle of September,
Mm-hmm.
I had to have surgery to have that removed. So they went in, they actually cut my whole ear open, folded over my whole ear. It was about a 4-hour surgery.
Mm-hmm.
They went in, removed the cyst, cleaned up all the infection, did all that. And actually still have to have 2 more surgeries. Unfortunately, it's kind of something that isn't one and done. So I do still have to have 2 more surgeries. But it's just been tough recovering from all that. And I still have issues here and there, and, trying trying to get everything back on track after I feel like everything fell apart. It's just been, kind of difficult. And,
Mhm.
so we're trying, but, we're just trying to get everything back on track at this point. But like I said, now I'm at the point, at least I'm doing okay. We know what's wrong. We're
Yeah.
taking the steps to fix it. Like I said, I do have to have a couple more surgeries, but, yeah, I mean, it's pretty
Yeah,
much
I
the
mean,
gist of it.
yeah, I mean, we haven't talked as much as I'd like, but I mean, just you're a solid dude, and I believe in you, and I want nothing but greatness for you, man. So
No,
just
I appreciate it. I do.
absolutely. What would you say is your best moment on tour?
Uh, Man, I don't know. I don't get asked that one. I don't get asked that one very often. I mean,
Mhm.
man, I don't really know. I mean, I've had a lot of good moments, but I don't really know that I've had like the best moment because until I win, I always feel like there's going to be something there, and so I feel like that's going to be the best moment whenever I do finally win.
I
And
hear that. Yeah.
I've had a lot of good ones, but I'm not sure that there's like one particular one that honestly sticks out as far as like bowling, bowling on tour, honestly.
Yeah, and I guess what I would say is, I mean, I talk to a lot of you guys. Like, I'm great friends with Smallwood,
Hmm.
and I'm great friends with Parker and all those guys. And I always, tell them that I'm like, I don't know what it's like to be a pro, but don't try to win. Just let your ability happen. AJ took him forever, and he finally won, but he's having trouble winning in the states. I don't know if it's because he's might be squeezing in or whatever. Just I swear you're gonna win. You're going to
It's just
win.
hard. It's not even that. It's just hard. Like
Yeah.
honestly, like it's nothing. I mean, it's nothing against anybody. I mean, it's
Right.
nothing. It's not even about getting nervous. It's just hard. I mean, there's so many steps that it takes to not only get to the show, but then you have to win on the show too. And it's just like, you know, I tell people all the time, it's like it's fun for us to watch, but it's not fun to bowl against. I was having the
Mhm.
conversation last week or a couple weeks ago, like bowling. I don't feel like bowling's seen quite the dominance of having Belmo and Simo and EJ all at the same time. Uh, they take so many spots on shows and so many wins, like it
Mhm.
makes it really really hard
Mhm.
for people to get wins because they're so good. And then you factor in guys like Kyle too, like you
Mhm.
know. But those three guys, I mean, and Kyle's right there too. It's just they're so good and they're on every show. So there's
Mhm.
not very many spots on shows to bowl for. And
Mhm.
then when you do get on the shows, like they're so good on the shows that then it's hard to win because at some point you have to beat them. And honestly, I
Mhm.
mean, it's just something that's really, really difficult. And, you may have a week that Belmo doesn't bowl good, but then EJ and Simo bowl good. So that's two
Yeah.
spots. And then you have the next week where Simo may not bowl good, but then EJ and Belmo both bowl good. And so every week you have all three of them. And it's really, really, hard when there's only five spots on the shows. And then you're trying to beat them on the shows too. It's like looking at golf and imagining Tiger Woods in his prime, but there's three of him. I mean, how many
Sure.
how many golfers wouldn't have a title or wouldn't have a major title if there was
Mhm.
three Tiger Woods in his prime playing golf? And that's what
Right.
we have right now with Belmo and EJ and Simo. And they're, Belmo's still in his prime too, and they're all in their prime. And so there's just not a lot of titles to bowl for and a lot of shows to make because those guys take, the vast
Remember
majority of them.
remember one thing though, okay? And I get it, I'm just a fan, but I would rather give you confidence than have you give me an autograph. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'd,
Oh, I
um
have all the confidence in the world. It's
no,
just
I know,
this
but
it's just the it's honestly it's just the semantics of it. I mean, like guys, there's always going to be the guys that are just the best. I mean, that's just how the world works. I mean, Tom Brady's the best, and
right.
Tiger Woods was the best, and Michael Jordan was the best. It just that's how it goes. It's just
Sure.
having three of them in your sport at the same time. Just makes it that much more difficult for guys to win, and I think that's why you have so many guys with the capability of winning that haven't won because it's just that hard, honestly.
Right. I mean, look, EJ. I feel like it took EJ a little bit to get his first, but when he did, man, the floodgates opened up. All you need is one, and I think you're gonna open up a little bit, and I think it's gonna happen for you.
Yeah, no, and I sincerely appreciate it. And like I said, right now I'm just trying to get
Mm-hmm.
my health in order and
Yeah.
everything else in order, and trying to balance everything out and just continue to just move, continue to just keep moving forward. And we're just trying to work as hard as we can to get things done and just do the best we can. It's just, it's been a struggle the last year and a half, to say the least. And there's so many things going on, and when you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to get healthy and bowl and travel and do all of these things at once, it just gets extremely difficult at times. But
Mm-hmm. Do you have like a like not like what was the worst moment so far on your career that happened right
yeah,
off or?
by far losing my exemption last year is, it's not even
Mm-hmm.
close. Like, I bowled on tour for 10 years, for almost 10 years, and never once wasn't exempt once they went back to the exempt tour. I was exempt every year. I was on a league team every year. Um, that was stuff that was never in question. And then unfortunately, trying to bowl last year, being sick, having
Mm-hmm.
these issues going on, having to have surgery and all these millions of problems.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, lost my exemption, lost my spot on a league team. So it's frustrating to deal with because I don't feel like it was the choices I made. It was just the hand I was dealt. And, there
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a lot that I could do to avoid it. Um, it wasn't like I stopped practicing or got arrested or, started doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing. I pretty much was still practicing bowling tournaments every weekend, doing what I was supposed to be doing. And, it just was unfortunately a hand I was dealt. And, now we've got to rebound from it, and I need to do a little better job of handling the situation the way it
Mm-hmm.
is right now. But yeah, by far, losing my exemption, losing my spot on a league team, like that was
Yeah.
significantly by far the worst moment of my bowling career, and it's not even close.
How does the exempt tour work now? Because I know when it was a thing in 0304 till whatever, you had to be in the top 50 or top
Mm.
64, got a exempt. Like, how does it work now?
Yeah, so last year it was top 50, and man, even I'll be honest, like I had moments where I was at the hospital the day before and then trying to bowl qualifying the next morning. Um, that's how bad it was, but I knew I had to stay out there to even have an opportunity to be exempt. And so yeah, last year it was top 50. I finished 54th, I believe. So man, I was still super close. This year it's going to be 43, and then they're going to take 12 from the tour trials at the end of the year. So this year it's going to end up being 55 total when it's all said and done.
Oh, the four. Okay. Wow. That's yeah. And I'm assuming if you don't make if you don't make it, you're going to tour trials.
Yeah, I will definitely be bowling tour trials. My plan is obviously to still get to that 43 number.
Oh yeah.
With not even getting to bowl the last four tournaments as well as I bowled in the first major of the year. I'm only a couple hundred points out of 43rd. So
Mm-hmm.
the Masters and the World Series, there's still so many opportunities there. So, I'm going to spend these next 3 weeks, pretty much doing every single thing that I can do to try and be successful the last month of the season to get to that 43rd number. Because I'll be honest with you, like not making out of any of the PTQs the last 4 weeks, it's pretty surprising to even still feel like I even have an opportunity to get to that number. So like I said, we're only like 400 or 500 points out. So, a good Masters and a good World Series, we can, it's very, very doable. So these next couple of weeks are going to be spent
So let me
grinding.
ask you that. Let me ask you this because I contacted a few people and they're like, "Well, you really you want to talk to me? Why do you want to talk to me?" Were you surprised that I contacted you to be on the show?
Yes and no. It's kind of one of those things. I've actually done quite a few of these. I've been on, Stu and Chris's show 5 or 6 times. I've done a handful of these. I've done 12 or 15 of these before. I've been around for a while. I travel a lot. So
Yep.
I go a lot of different places. I've done a lot of different things. I've won a lot of different things. You know, I've done a lot with bowling. And so, maybe, yes and no. I mean, not super, super surprised, but, I've seen some of the people you have on here. And so, maybe a little bit.
Nah. So I got to know Lavery Spar, because how did you get your where's the last name come from?
My mom just when my parents got married, wanted to keep her last name. She really, really deep family ties and just wanted to keep her last name. And so I just ended up with my mom's and my dad's.
Hey,
Not a super exciting story by any means.
nope, that's all right. And thanks for
Yeah.
telling me. I mean, I was just curious. I mean,
Oh
that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. My mom just super, super deep family ties. My parents' side is very, very
Mhm.
Italian influenced and very, very full blooded Italian. And so, she just wanted to keep her last name. So I ended up with both of them.
There you go. Do you have anybody that you beat, like any rivalries in match play when you make match play? Do you have anybody you beat a lot or beats you a lot?
I will tell you the one guy that is funny because he used to live here and we bowled a lot of regionals and tournaments against the guy that I used to never be able to beat was DJ Archer. And I have no, it's so random. Like he was just that one guy that always stuck out that it was like, uh, whenever I bowled him, I just felt like I never beat him. And then over the last like 4 or 5 years, I feel like we've bowled plenty more and it's evened out and I've gotten some wins back against him. But as far as like the guy I could never beat, like it was definitely like DJ for about 5 or 6 years was the guy that stuck out. It didn't matter where we were, what we were bowling, what was going on. He was the guy that it was like, if I bowled him, didn't beat him. Didn't matter how. Some way or another, he was going to beat me. Um, I don't really know. Like we bowl so many different people that I will tell you every time me and my brother bowl each other, whoever
Mhm.
doesn't need to win is the guy that wins. So if I'm in first and my brother's in 10th, it's guaranteed that he's going to win and vice versa. If he's in first and I'm in 10th, it's guaranteed that I beat him.
Oh
Whoever
man.
whoever doesn't need to win is the guy that always wins. But yeah, DJ's really, as far as both sides of that, DJ's the only guy that's ever stuck out. Like for quite a while there, like regionals, local tournaments, even like the round robin on tour and stuff. Like
Oh yeah.
DJ was the guy for some reason. I just couldn't beat him. Had my number. And like I said, we've definitely gotten a few wins back since then, but he was the guy for a while. But like I said, I just don't feel like we bowl a lot of the same guys very much. And when we do, it's
Sure.
in round robin. And so,
Right.
a lot of that doesn't stick out very much because um,
Mhm.
you just bowl so many round robin games that you don't really notice like how many times you beat one guy or how many times a guy beats you. And since this is the first year other than the Masters that we've actually started back with the head-to-head matches in match play doing the bracket.
Yep.
So I think you'll start to see like over the next couple of years some like rivalries and some guys that are like have other guys' numbers because of those best of 7 matches.
Mhm.
But we just hadn't done them in so long that I don't really think that a lot of that sticks out.
Are you having fun right now, or are you just like, I don't mean right now in this hour. I'm just saying like on tour. Are you
Oh,
having
absolutely, absolutely not. I haven't.
no?
I'm being completely transparent. I haven't had much fun in the last year and a half. So,
Wow.
like I said, we're
Right.
trying. We're
Right.
trying to. We're trying to get back there. But yeah, it
Mm.
hasn't. I haven't had a whole lot of fun in about a year and a half. So, once
Where I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, like once I feel like stuff starts maybe get back on track, then maybe we can start having some fun again. But yeah, it definitely hasn't
Okay.
been a lot of fun.
So this might be a obvious stupid question, but because obviously you got to make the show to win a title, but where's there is there more pressure trying to get on the show or be on the show?
I think it's getting there because if you don't get there, you don't have a chance to win.
Right.
And if you don't get there, you don't get to bowl on TV. And people don't remember who finishes. For the most part, most of our step ladders are 5, so people don't really remember who finishes 6th. But
Hmm.
people remember who make the show. And so, I think it's more pressure trying to get there than once you're there trying to win. Because, to me, once you get there, it's like, well, the worst thing you happen is you bowl a bad game on TV. But
Hmm.
you got to TV, everybody got to watch you, you had an opportunity to win. And if you bowl one bad game, you bowl one bad game. But if you finish sixth, then you don't even have the opportunity to win. You don't have the opportunity to bowl on TV. So that's why, to me, I almost feel like it's definitely harder to get there than it is to actually like get there and finish it.
Yeah. How many shows have you made so far?
I've only made two. I made the double show and I made one in Lubbock.
Okay.
I think I counted the other day, or not probably the other day. It's probably been a few months. I think I have like 15 or 16 finishes in the 6th to 8th range.
Okay.
And that's where I said it gets hard, is because,
Mm-hmm.
like me, I mean, I've only made two shows, but like I have 15 or 16 top 8 finishes, but trying to parlay them into shows, just that was the part that didn't work out. And that was the part where I felt like I was so close too, is because, I was having 3 or 4 tournaments a year. I finished in the top 10. And so I felt like I was close to getting there. And then, things have obviously gotten derailed a little bit. So, but
what's your favorite tour stop right now?
probably Wichita, honestly, because I bowled really good the last 2 years in Wichita. I finished 10th at the Players there this year, and then I finished 10th or 11th at the tour stop there last year too. So right now, probably bowling at North Rock's probably my favorite event. But as far as place to bowl, I mean, Portland, Maine's definitely by far my favorite place to bowl. The atmosphere, the fans, just everything about it is just so much fun.
When you guys came in 2015 for the first time, and I mean, listen, I feel bad that a pro bowler meets me, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm a little bit of a fanboy, and when I meet like I don't care how many titles you got. If I've seen you bowl on TV, or if you got, I'm gonna buy you a drink, I'm gonna treat you like I'm gonna roll out the red carpet, and I don't apologize for that. I just don't.
Right. Well, I mean, most guys should appreciate that, though. I mean,
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Where's your least favorite tour stop right now?
Woodland Bowl. I suck there. Terrible. Absolutely awful.
Why?
My ball hooks too early, and I can't. A lot of it's because we've bowled the U.S. Open there for so many years. But what's funny is I've actually bowled 2 PBA events there and actually bowled well. I almost made the show at the Indianapolis Open in 2019 or 2020. I finished 6th. It was the year Smallwood made the show, and he bowled 830 the last 3 to get around me to make the show. And then I bowled the TOC there and actually bowled pretty good too. Yeah. But I've bowled 3 U.S. Opens there and a Masters there, and I think I finished in the bottom 20 of every single one of them. My ball hooks early. It doesn't go through the pins there. It's just all bad. The last 3 U.S. Opens that I've bowled there have been absolutely horrific, and so that plays for me right now. And I get sick every year that we go bowl there. And I don't know if it's because it's like the first event that it's cold and it's snowy, and it's always snowing when we're there. It's always raining. It's just not it for me. It is just not it. I told AJ and my brother as soon as we left there this year, I was like, I'm over it. Like, and it's a great center. The people are awesome. Yeah. It's a beautiful center. The people, they love having us there. They're great. They treat us great. It's nothing against them. It's just, I stink there, and the weather sucks every year we're there.
Right. And so let me give you a little bit of background. When my first pro that I interviewed was Parker.
Okay.
And because I was going to take this podcast to like just come on and give my controversial bowling views, but I was just like, I interviewed Andrew Pfeffer, and then Parker was my first pro. So everybody is getting the questions that you're getting because the answer is always different, right? And and it was just one of those things that I don't even know where I was going, but it's just I never want, when I say tour stop you hate, I don't mean like, oh, well, I hate the proprietors and I hate this and I hate that.
Oh, yeah.
I always look for what you just gave me. Well, my ball does this here. I'm sure everywhere you go, I mean, I'm sure maybe not everywhere. There might be stories that we don't know. Everywhere you go, you're treated well. Maybe. I would like to think so.
I will say we are very, very, very fortunate at this current moment that everywhere we go I'd basically say everywhere we go treats us very, very well and wants us there, and treats it like it is a professional event. We're in a good spot with where we bowl, and the proprietors and the centers, like right now, like they've gotten that down to a T. Like we're at a very good spot as far as that goes right now.
That's good. Where does the PBA not go that you want them to go at some point?
Shawnee. I want them to go back to Shawnee. I love bowling there. I bowl good there every single time we bowl there. I've had
Fire Lake.
Fire Lake, yeah. I've
Yeah,
had
okay.
so much success in that building. I've won so many tournaments there and bowled really. I made the double show there. Bowled really good during the one summer swing there. Had 3 top tens in the summer swing there. Finished 8th in the singles the year we made the double show there. Bowled, finished in the top 12 of one of the TOCs there. Like I've bowled so good in that bowling center. I've won. Our biggest regional of the year is the Invitational Regional. At the end of the year, we have an Invitational Regional for the top 32 players in our region. It's at Fire Lake. I've won that twice. I've just had so much success in that building. I love Chris Skillings. He's awesome. He's the owner. I have a lot of friends that live there, so I always have a place to stay. I just love bowling there. I would love to see the PBA go back to either Fire Lake or South Plains Lanes in Lubbock. Another place, Jimbo, the owner, awesome guy. I've known him since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Bowl really, really well there. One of my best friends lives there. Him and his wife, Cody and Ricky. So just another awesome place that I would love to go back to bowl. Either one of those places, I'd love it. And they're close to me. They're short drives.
Oh, all right. Let me ask you this, kind of off the sheet. So you have to fly to a tournament. You have to drive to a tournament. How do you bring your bowling balls? Is it all on the truck? You never have to bring anything?
So yeah, we kind of have to drive to start, and then we can kind of figure it out from there. So like we drove the whole first half, and then like we're flying to Vegas to bowl the Masters because we were able to put balls on the truck in Delaware. So we have 9 balls that are on the truck, and then we can fly with 6, which makes 15, which is a good arsenal for a tournament. But for the most part, yeah, we have to drive a lot because unless we have the balls on transport, then we have to drive because it's the only way we can get 18 or 21 balls there so that we have everything that we need.
6 balls on a plane, that's beyond me. Like I'm the only bowler in my family, and yeah, if I tried to bring 6 balls on a plane, even my parents wouldn't let that fly at all.
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
we've got it down to a science. It's two of the Vice 3-ball triples. Those go under the plane. Those are under 50 pounds. So we check those 2 bags, and then we bring a backpack and a duffel bag on the plane. So we've got it down packed pretty good.
Okay, so all right, so not everything's on the plane. Something's under the plane. I like it. Okay.
We checked the bowling balls. We checked the 2 3-ball triples.
Okay. Speaking of, all right, stupid question. My thumb is swollen, and I'm thinking about using a potato to get rid of that. When you're swollen, what do you do to get that down?
I've never done the potato thing. I have no idea if it actually works or not. I actually don't ever have thumb issues.
Okay.
I never have an issue with my thumb. Like it gets a little sore from time to time, but like it doesn't. I mean, it swells and goes up and down like anybody else's. But that's why I have my my Vice interchangeable thumbs, is because that way I have a bigger one, a smaller one. Different fit for depending on how my thumb is that day. But I don't really have too many issues. Like I have my calluses built up, so my thumb never rips. I don't ever really get blisters or anything like that. So other than changing thumbs, that's really all I do. Adding tape, maybe taking some tape out or switching out my thumbs. But I've never tried the potato thing. I don't know if it actually works or not. I hear it does, but I've never personally tried it.
Okay, guys, that was a question for me because I have to bowl tomorrow, and it's
I mean, you could try. I mean, I know people that swear that it works, but personally, I don't know because I've never tried it.
I saw it in the movie Dreamer. Check that movie out. And so, but yeah, okay. So, what are your goals for 2024?
I just want to get my exemption back. I don't care how I do it. I don't care if it's at tour trials. I don't care if it's the season. That's my only goal. However it plays out, like my goal isn't even to win this year. Like honest to God, like my goal every tour season is just to win, like to get that one win and get it under my belt. And I know that win would get me my exemption back. But that's not the goal. The goal is just to get my exemption back, to get everything back on track, and just to get back to where I know I can be and to where we're supposed to be, and just have everything, back on track.
I'm going to tell you exactly how you're going to do that. Because I believe in this. I got a buddy that I talk to on the phone quite a bit, right?
Okay.
He's not a pro bowler, not, just bowls in the league back in Bangor, Maine. I tell him all the time, whenever he's like, I'm always like, believe in yourself. If you believe, you can, you will. So,
And honestly, like that's great advice, and that's probably a lot of something I need to start doing. And I've always been that way. I've always been a big believer in myself. I've always been super confident in myself, and just with everything that's been going on and as many bad performances that I've had, and things just roller coastering all the time, like it's definitely gotten to a point where it is tough to do sometimes. But man, I will tell you, that is advice I've heard all my life, and that is absolute great advice that sometimes even like I need to hear. And so I do very much appreciate that.
I mean, you can message me anytime you want. I'm always here for you guys. Okay, like
For sure,
literally,
man. I
just so
definitely appreciate that, for sure.
What's a PBA rule that you agree with right now that maybe somebody else doesn't?
That I agree with. Man, that's a tough one. I'm trying to think of something that I agree with that maybe other people wouldn't. Man, I don't know. I really honestly, like, I don't know. I don't know an answer to that question, because I feel like the majority of the rules that I agree with, I feel like uh I feel like the majority of other people would agree with as well. So I'm not really sure that there's one that sticks out that I agree with that other people maybe wouldn't.
Let me change it up then, because I want to see, and you don't have to answer. Do you have any PBA dirt? Like, is there anything that goes on during the week that we would never know that would be juicy for us to know?
And not really, honestly.
Okay.
Like, it's been pretty. I'll be honest, like being straightforward with you, like for all the changes, for everything that got changed this year, from everything, the rules, the bowling balls and everything. Man, it's been pretty tame this year. We've had no issues, no blow ups, no arguments, no screaming at each other. I mean, no people using bowling balls they're not supposed to use. Like, it's been pretty uneventful, honestly, this year.
Rash and Belmo are getting along.
I mean,
sorry.
yeah. I mean, for the most part, it seems like they're getting along. Like,
Wow.
really just no. It's been pretty uneventful this year, honestly. I mean, we still got half a season left, though. I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. It's gonna be the World Series is gonna be interesting, because people are gonna start getting close to that exempt number, and people are gonna start falling out. And people are start getting in, and then things could get a little chippy at the World Series when those exemptions start getting put on the line.
Oh yeah. Now I need to say this. I like both Belmo and Rash. I'm not trying to, ruin my whole podcast. I'm just having a little bit of fun.
Oh, yeah, they're both great guys. We've all been
absolutely.
there. I've gotten into arguments with people, and I've gotten into shouting matches with people, and whatever. I mean, it happens. Like, it's just part of competitive sports. I mean, you watched last night. You look at the South Carolina LSU women's basketball game last night. It got chippy, and 15 people got ejected. I mean, it's just part of sports. Like, it just is what it is.
Yeah, definitely. Is there a PBA rule that you don't agree with, or anything gripey that you want to gripe about with the PBA? That, I mean,
the only I will say, like, the only thing I obviously I'm not, speaking anything about the bowling balls, because I know nothing about all that stuff. I don't know the science behind it and all that stuff. So whatever they decide is what they decide. We just go with it. The one thing I've never particularly agreed with as far as the PBA is that we can't wear golf shorts, because I feel like when it starts to get 95 and 100 in the summer, and some of these bowling centers, the air conditioning can't keep up.
Yep.
Bowling in pants is pretty miserable.
Oh, yeah.
So not being able to wear a nice pair of golf shorts while you're bowling is something, because golfers get to wear golf shorts in the summer when they're playing golf tournaments. So not being able to wear a nice pair of golf shorts with your shirt tucked in and a belt is kind of the one thing that I've never particularly agreed with, and something that I think progressing moving forward would be something that I would like to see them change. Because living down here in Texas, I can tell you, bowling some of these regionals in the summer, wearing pants ain't it.
Do you need a lot of tape in the summer? Like, do you need tape a lot? because it's so hot?
In my thumb hole?
Yeah.
I use the same amount of tape in every single thumb hole I use. I always try to have 3 pieces of tape in my thumb hole. It's
Okay.
just for me. It feels the best. It fits the best. Like every time I drill a thumb, I always try and get it to where I put 3 pieces of tape in it.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're bigger, smaller, whatever, I just use them when they fit. So if I have my good thumb has 3 pieces of tape in it, and then if my thumb swells, my bigger thumb has 3 pieces of tape in it. It's just a little bigger for when my thumb swells. But I always try and keep about 3 pieces of tape in the ball because to me that's like the sweet spot for feeling good.
Right. All right. So I'm going to go off what you were just saying. I agree with you on the shorts thing. So my state tournament, they allowed us to wear shorts a few years ago. So, and I'm a bigger guy. I don't like to wear pants. I've ripped my pants bowling before. It sucks. I don't like it. So I would wear sweatpants, but you obviously can't wear sweatpants when you bowl a city tournament or state tournament or anything like that. So they allowed us to wear shorts. So now I wear shorts anytime I bowl. I don't care if I'm in January in Maine.
Right.
Yeah. And I think if you're allowed to do it during a state tournament, you should be allowed to do it. I mean, if your shorts are ugly and don't look presentable, that's one thing.
Well, the problem that things get lost in is like you either dress well or you don't. Like I see people that wear golf shorts that look way nicer than some people wearing slacks. And so it's how you carry and present yourself. You're going to either look good or look bad no matter what you're wearing. Like telling somebody they have to wear a polo or a jersey and slacks doesn't mean they're going to come in and look sharp. You know, people carry and present themselves certain ways, and some people do it well and some people, don't. And so I don't think the shorts would change anything as long as you put the rules in that they have to be golf type shorts.
Do you want to do who's the best dress and worst dress on the PBA tour, or do you not want to touch it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Right. No problem.
I'll do the best. I'm not doing the worst because people aren't all in the same situation, and so sometimes it's not their fault. Sometimes it's all they can afford. But I'll be honest with you. Most guys on tour do a really good job. I think the people that don't are just the kind of ones that just don't care, and it's on them. They don't look good when they're out. But Kevin Williams, he's all dripped out. He's always got the expensive t-shirt or shirt on and the expensive pants. And I mean, I'm a big shoe collector, so I always got the nice shoes on, but I don't always have the nice fit on to go with it. But he's always got the jewelry and everything on. Not when he's bowling. Obviously, when he's bowling, he wears what we all wear. But outside of bowling, I mean, he's always got the real nice pants on, the expensive shoes, the expensive shirt with all the jewelry and everything. So I definitely got to give him a little prop. Kevin Williams.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Kevin Williams. Yeah, I got to give him the props on that. That dude, he's a good dresser.
You do know that if you were talking to Deborah Norville right now on on like an interview where you have to spill it, you should probably make you say who's the worst dress is. And when when I created this, I was like,
I don't particularly think anybody can make anybody say anything.
No,
so
right. You're
agree. Yeah, agree to disagree. I mean, I'm not.
No.
If I go on, and I mean, this is obviously no offense, but I mean, anybody's show that I'm on, if I don't feel comfortable saying something, I mean, I'm not going to say it.
Oh no. I'm just saying, like, so when I created this podcast, I just want you. My goal is for you to have more fun than I am. And this.
Yeah. I'm having a great time. I looked up at the time just now and realized it's been an hour, and honestly, it doesn't even feel like it's been an hour. Now I'm having a great time talking to you, honestly.
Nice. What is a PBA rule? What is not a PBA rule that should be a PBA rule?
What's not a rule that should be a rule? Man. I don't really know. I think they do a good job of covering pretty much all the bases. I mean, everything that I feel like could be annoying is something that is pretty much a rule. I mean, obviously the rules of bowling are what they are, and they've been that way forever, and that hasn't changed much. But there's a lot of rules in place that people don't really know about. Like you have to move your equipment, or with you from pair to pair, or it's a fine. You have to clean up your rosin bag. I'll tell you. What the one rule? I'll tell you the one, and it's dumb, but it drives me up a wall. When people and this should be a rule. And I mean, I know it's not, but there should be a rule in place for people getting a do-over on a shot because of somebody else doing something ignorant. Because I will tell you, the one thing I see a lot is somebody throwing a bad shot because somebody else chose to punch the ball return or kick a bag or knock a chair over because they're mad in the middle of somebody else's backswing.
Yep.
And I've seen it happen a lot where that person, I mean, it's perfect timing right in their downswing and somebody clobbers the ball return and they throw a bad shot and get 5 because, it's an utter big distraction. And I think that there should be some kind of rule in place for that person to get to do their shot over.
Like an interference rule.
Right, like an interference rule, because it gets to a point like, yeah, I mean, it's loud and there's a lot of things going on when you're bowling a tournament, so it's not quiet. But there comes a point where things get deliberate. I mean, we bowl tournaments and people scream, at the pin. They leave a 10 pin and they scream at it, and people kick and punch and hit things. And I think there should be some type of interference rule in place for if it's unanimous with everybody around that was a blatant interference of that person's shot, that they should get some type of do-over for that shot.
Do you know there's only been one on the PBA tour ever that? Did you see that shot?
Bob Learn Jr.
Yep.
He shot the 10 pin and they gave him the crowd interference 10 pin.
Yep. Would you, if you were in the same situation, would you have done the same?
I would have petitioned for it. Absolutely. I mean, if you're
Parker,
I honestly don't know, because I don't know what happened. Like, you never get to see exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you that if Parker stood up and said he should get to reshoot it, it had to be probably pretty blatant. And at that point, yeah, because you know how it feels to be on the other side of that. Like, how it feels for that to happen to you. So if somebody misses a 10 pin against me, I want it to be because they missed it, not because a fan jumped out of their seat right in the middle of their approach or screamed in the middle of their approach. So yeah, I mean, obviously it was blatant enough that Parker, agreed that he should get to do it over, from everything I've heard, obviously. And you don't know.
I'll tell you exactly what happened. Bob, I hope you don't give me whatever for doing this, but so he is shooting the 10 pin, and I guess somebody either clapped or stood up or whatever. And then I guess the fan goes up to Bob Learn a few years later and says, Hey, do you remember me? I'm the guy that, made you miss the 10 pin or whatever. And he was like, well, yeah, but no, so that's what happened. And, but no, that's definitely an interesting take.
Yeah, that's definitely one rule I'd like to see be put in place, because it happens a lot. And I'll be honest with you. Like, I mean, I saw it happen last week in Delaware, the week before, to Andrew Anderson, and he ended up ring 10ing on the shot, and it almost cost him. It was his second shot in the 10th, trying to make it to the next round, and it honestly almost cost him making it to the next round. And it was pretty blatant. And I don't remember exactly what happened for it to happen. I just remember, like, oh my God, that's really crappy. That just happened in the middle of his backswing. He literally turned almost before he threw the ball, and it was, I mean, the shot ended up okay at 10 pin, but it almost cost him making it to the next round. And I definitely remember that stuck out. And I was like, there should be like a discrepancy for something like this.
Yeah, definitely. So let me ask you this. How old are you?
33.
33. Okay. So the reason I ask is Johnny Petraglia turned 77 last week. And, he had the amazing career that he had. Let's say you're 77 years old. Your career is done, and you're sitting wherever you're sitting, thinking about your career. What does your resume need to look like for you to say, I'm satisfied with my PBA career, and there's nothing else I could have done? What do you want to do in your PBA life for you to be able to be like, okay, I did it all, and my career was amazing?
One title on TV. Obviously, like, I would love to win, any PBA title. But for me, for me at this point to be satisfied with everything I've done in bowling, I would have to. I need to win one title on TV, and I'd be satisfied with everything I've accomplished because I feel that I feel like for me it's the last stepping stone of what I need to accomplish in my career to be content with everything, because I had a set number of regional titles that I wanted to win. I've already accomplished that. My goal was 10. I have 11 already. I wanted to win Player of the Year once for the region. I've won twice, so I accomplished that. I wanted to win an Eagle at Nationals. I was fortunate enough to do that. There's some bigger localish tournaments that are pretty big, prestigious tournaments that I wanted to win, and I actually accomplished the last one last year, actually. But I've won every single one of those that I wanted to win. So the last thing truly on my list is I want to win a PBA title, but I want it to be on TV. It has to be on TV.
I got to say that's awesome. So Mike Edwards won in Markham, Ontario in '94, and that was his only title. So that's what you want to do. You want to be
and anything that happens after that's awesome. If I win 2, 3, 4 times, that'd be fantastic. But if I won one title on TV, that would and that was the only one that ever happened, that would be enough for me to be happy with everything that I've accomplished in my bowling career. Because I would literally got to say I've won everything that I've ever wanted to win, and that's the last one, is winning a PBA title on TV.
I've had such a great that's the regular questions. When was the last time you bowled 300?
The Players, the first major of the year of the Players, I bowled 300.
Wow. All right. We're gonna go flush in the pocket in a second here. 12 questions, just
Okay.
Just for fun. But before we do that, I gotta say this, man. You're an old PBA soul, and what I mean by that is you've done stuff in a short period of time that other players have 30 years, and they have either done it or haven't done it. But you've done it. Even on the regional, like winning 11 regional titles, you started bowling at 14. Hey, let's go bowling. Whatever. And then you averaged, what you did. And now you're on tour, man. I mean, this is one of the best stories I've ever heard. I got to be honest with you.
I appreciate it for sure. And that's where I know like what my capability is. And I know I'm good enough to be exempt. And, I know I've been exempt for 10 years and it's never been an issue. And so and like that's just where we're at right now, is just getting back to the point of where I know that I'm supposed to be, and just getting everything back on track.
Yeah, man. I believe it. I believe it'll happen. So actually, give me okay. No. What's the best thing about being a pro bowler?
Honestly, the best part for me is traveling to all the different places that we get to go, but also meeting the people that we get to meet. I have so many really, really good friends all over the country. Like, I mean, people I talk to every single day, people that I'm, really good friends with them and their family and, their kids. And it's just like the people that we get to meet. Like, I have a lot of friends that, don't have, a ton of friends, because they just don't know a ton of people. And so like the amount of people that I've got to meet and become friends with and close with, like, it's just amazing. Like, it's amazing how many friends that I have that are so happy for me when I bowl good, and how many friends that I have that are so supportive, of things when they're not going well. And so it's just like, to have that genuine amount of good people in my life, is hard to come by. And, without bowling, I wouldn't know I probably wouldn't know any of those people. So, people always say that you only get a couple of really good friends in life. Like I feel like I have, I could name 25 people right now that would literally do anything in the world that they could possibly do for me if I needed it, in a heartbeat. And like most people aren't blessed with, amount of people in their life. And so, through bowling, like all of that's been possible. And so like I will forever be grateful for that.
Whatever, if you said 25, I'm going to throw myself in there and make it 26. If
Man,
you
I'm telling you, man, I'm extremely lucky, extremely lucky. And I don't know how everybody else feels, other guys that bowl for a living, if they feel the same way or whatever. But, I am so extremely lucky by the amount of really good people and friends that I have.
Yeah. And it's weird because when I said before that I feel bad if a pro meets me because I'm a lot of person. When I was watching bowling on TV, growing up, I was like, geez, these guys aren't real. They're characters on a TV show. I'm never going to meet them. Not only have I met them, I'm friends with a lot of them. And it's like, I would rather, like I said, I'd rather treat you like a buddy than get an autograph from you.
And see, I would rather, and I don't mind, trust me, I don't mind asking for autographs. I'll do whatever, you want me to sign something, do whatever, take a picture, whatever. I'll do any of that. But I'd rather meet somebody and them treat me like a friend and like, hey, let's go, man, you want to go have a drink? Like, man, I can't tell you how many awesome people I've met just from them being like, hey man, I know you just got done bowling, whatever, but man, can I buy you a beer? Or, can I buy
absolutely.
you a drink? Like, you want to sit, man? Yeah. All right, let's go, let's go sit down
right here.
And man, it's just like we were like, man, I'll be honest with you, bowling yesterday, during the regional, man, I had a guy, I know him, he bowls a couple of regionals here and there. But not somebody I've really had very long conversations with. But man, game 4, game 5, man, I'm having a terrible time. I'm miserable, bowling bad, whatever. And he just sitting there and he just asked me a question about shoes. Like I'm a major sneakerhead, so I'm really into shoes. Just asked me a question about shoes and started talking about his collection and all this. And bro, we had a 45-minute conversation over 2 games about shoes. And it was the only 2 games I bowled good. So just I would rather you approach me and have a conversation and want to have a beer, or, have a conversation, any of that stuff, because man, you never know. Like, yeah, I mean, it's just I enjoy those people so much better than the people that are just kind of a stick in the mud and like they're just there and then they're just like,
Because here's the thing, right? I'm going to assume that if I said, hey man, I need a ball and you're on staff, can you hook me up with a ball? You'd do it. If you could.
Mm-hmm.
But
if I know you and you're genuinely somebody that I'm friends with and I can do something, because I'm not in a position all the time to do that, because I can't go to Brunswick and be like, hey, can I have 10 hammer balls to just give away to all these people? It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. But if you're somebody that I'm friends with and I can help you in some sort of way because I have an extra ball laying around, or hey, I have a ball you can plug and re-drill, would you like that? I try and help people the best that I can. If you're somebody that I've had conversations with, if you're somebody that's a buddy of mine, a friend of mine, I will help you out any which way that I can, because I've had a million people that have helped me along the way. But if you send me a random message on Facebook asking me for a ball and I've never talked to you in my entire life, absolutely not. No chance.
No, absolutely not. No,
it's actually, I will say, I apologize to a lot of people about Facebook Messenger, because if you message me on Facebook, it's about a 50-50 shot if you get a reply. I have the notifications turned off because of so many people just asking for free stuff and asking for things. And hey, can you give me a pair of shoes? Can you give me a jersey? Can you get me? And trust me, I don't mind if you're like, hey, can I get a ball for this raffle, or can I get a ball for this donation? Absolutely. Every single time the answer is yes. Right. But not, hey man, I just saw this new effect came out. I think it'd be really good for my game. Can you send me one? No, like I've never met you. We're not even friends on Facebook. You're just sending me a random message.
Yeah, you're in my message requests. No.
Yeah, and so I actually feel bad a lot of times because I miss people's Facebook messages just for the simple fact of having the notifications turned off, because that part gets overwhelming sometimes.
Well, so last year when you guys were in Portland, Parker Bone obviously has more money than, he's won a lot. Like, yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I obviously don't know what's in his bank account, but if you've got over $2 million in career earnings, you probably don't need help. I bought him French fries, and I bought him French fries because of he's my buddy. I don't see his money. I see the man.
Right. Exactly.
So I see the man. I don't care what you can do for me. I'm going to buy you a beer. It's going to happen. I guarantee you that. What's the worst thing about being a pro bowler?
probably the people asking for free stuff that you've never met in your entire life.
Yep.
It drives, you know, like I said, I'll help anybody out to the end of the world if I can. You know, if you're a buddy of mine, a friend of mine, man, I will do whatever I can to help you out. But sending an anonymous message to somebody that you've never met, you've never talked to, you're not friends with on Facebook, and just asking them for free equipment for yourself, just to me, it's just that part's a little frustrating, because it'd be like me reaching out to Tom Brady and not even asking Tom Brady for a signed jersey. Like, if you ask me, like, hey, I'm a big fan, I'd like a signed jersey, man, I will make it happen. You will get a signed jersey. Except for Josh. He finally got one, but I apologize to Josh, my buddy Josh, that I think he lives in Ohio. That poor guy. He had to ask me 10 times because I just never remembered. But he finally got one, but that poor guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it'd be like me reaching out to Tom Brady and being like, hey, I need, or, Tom Brady's probably a bad example, but, say Giannis, hey, Giannis, can I get 10 free pairs of basketball shoes so I can go hoop at the Y with my buddies? Like,
right.
It's just that's a wild concept to me. So that's definitely probably the worst part.
All right. Yeah, definitely. Do you have any fears about your PBA career?
Honestly, my biggest fear right now is just never getting my exemption back and it being the end of my career, truthfully. I mean, obviously chasing PTQs and doing stuff like that isn't really feasible over the long term, especially like being 33, not being 20. And so feeling like I was established and feeling like, an injury basically ruined everything that I'd worked for. That is definitely a big fear of mine of, things just not turning around and it dragging out for so long that I can't sustain or do it anymore and having to be forced to do something else.
Right. Yeah. Well, listen, man, like I said, I believe in you. It's going to happen. All right. Now we're going to go flush in the pocket.
Okay.
What's your favorite food?
Wings.
Okay. So whenever somebody says wings, I need to know naked or breaded.
I like all of them. I like bone in, I like boneless, I like naked, I like breaded, I like all of them. I actually take that back though. My new favorite food over the last year is probably Korean barbecue. But it has forever been wings, but Korean barbecue has definitely snuck its way up there. I would definitely go to Korean barbecue a lot more if it wasn't so expensive. But wings is probably the go-to answer. I love wings. Bone in, bone out, boneless, breaded, not breaded. They're all, to me, amazing.
What's your sauce?
Everything. Asian zing, mango habanero, hot. I mean, I like spicy, so spicy. I don't like lemon pepper or garlic Parmesan or any of those. So definitely stuff that's on the spicier side.
I'll tell you right now, if you ever are in a situation to get to Port Charlotte, Florida, you got to go to Treasure Lanes. They have the greatest wings ever.
That's really, really funny that you bring that up. Dan and Lynn Collins sponsor us, Elite Flooring. They live in Port Charlotte, Florida. We've been to their house 5 times probably. I spent a week there December. Yeah, December. I spent a week there. We went and spent a week with them there. They live in Port Charlotte. That's really, really funny. I've bowled at Treasure Lanes. We've Dan and his son Corey, they bowl a lot, and we went out and bowled one night because they wanted to go bowl, and we bowled at Treasure Lanes. So we've actually been in there 4 or 5 times. I've never had the wings there though. That's wild. They've never mentioned that to me, so I'm gonna have to call them and try them. Call them and see what they have to say about them.
Man, all right, yeah, please. But yeah,
I've been. They're on the back of all my jerseys. The big Elite Flooring thing. They're in Port Charlotte, Florida.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's wild.
That is incredible. What's your favorite music?
I listen to like metal and hard rock and like that type of genre. The stuff that nobody likes because it screams.
Oh, okay. So I'm assuming you saw my post on Facebook about I got 4 sets of concert tickets. Let's see. You probably wouldn't go to these. Kenny Chesney.
No.
Parker McCollum.
Don't even know who that is.
Jordan Davis.
Don't even know who that is.
Shea.
I know who that is.
Okay. And I think that's it. Parker McCollum, Jordan Davis, Dan and Shea, Kenny Chesney. Yep. You wouldn't go to any of those, huh?
I'm gonna assume the two that I don't know are also country singers, but
they're
no.
they're all country. I'm a big.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't
so
know.
I know who Dan and Shay is, and I know who the first one you said was. I
Kenny
didn't know who
Chesney.
the two. I didn't. Yeah, I know Kenny Chesney is obviously. I didn't know who the two middle ones were, so I just assumed they're all country. No,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
You don't like? Wow. All right. That's cool. I get it.
Sure don't.
No, that's all good. If you could trade places with any other athlete, they're a Pro Bowler, and you are a what?
Definitely a MLB pitcher. I would trade places with. I would trade places with an MLB pitcher.
Yep. The PBA was at Miller Park quite a few years ago. How cool would it have been to be at Fenway Park?
Oh, that'd be sick. I mean, I've been to Fenway a couple times for baseball games, but that would be. I mean, I don't even know. Like that would be like the ultimate dream come true to bowl a PBA TV show in Fenway Park.
All right. Favorite time of day?
Definitely night. Definitely nighttime. I'm definitely a night owl. I'm not a
Mhm.
morning person. I do not want to be up early. I hate when we have to bowl at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's way too early for me. So definitely a nighttime person. I like getting home and relaxing and watching TikTok or YouTube or whatever for that night. Just winding down and just relaxing. So definitely nighttime.
All right. So what kind of traveler are you to a tournament? Are you the type that will your squad is done, hey, let's go hang out, or hey, listen, I'm just gonna go to the room, chill, and like what kind of guy are you? I'm a go to the hotel and chill kind of guy. What are you?
I'm kind of the mix and match. I mean, it
Yeah.
depends. Like I definitely I like definitely go out. I mean, I definitely like going out, going to
Mhm.
get dinner, going to the casino, going to do something. I like going to sneaker stores when I'm in different cities. I like
Nice.
going to sporting events. I mean, I like doing all that stuff, but I definitely like going back to the room too. So I'm kind of a little bit of a mix of both.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of times we're getting done at 9, 10 o'clock at night, and then we have to bowl again at 9 o'clock in the morning. So it's
Oof.
definitely straight back to the room pretty much. But man, when we don't have anything to do, I mean, I definitely like going out. Like, we get done with practice day and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and we don't bowl till 10 the next day. Hey, let's go do something, go find something to do.
Mhm.
Whether it be the casino or dinner or going downtown or whatever. I mean, we had some fun times last year between me and AJ and Sean. We went to downtown Detroit, scootered around downtown Detroit. I mean, we had a good time in some of the cities. We in Delaware last year. We found a couple little local hole in the wall bars. We went and hung out at a couple of nights. We definitely try and have a good time, but we definitely take bowling seriously, and it definitely comes first. So
Oh, absolutely.
if it's 9 o'clock at night and we're done, it's grabbing something to eat and going back to the room.
Right.
But if we don't bowl the next day, or it's we don't have practice till 3 o'clock the next day and it's practice day, we're definitely finding something to do.
Yeah. What would you say? And I know that it's going to sound similar to question one. What would you say is the best meal you've ever had in your life?
Probably the all you can eat Korean or all you can eat Japanese barbecue at a place called Gayukaku here in Dallas.
Mhm.
It's pretty tough to beat. It's pretty out of this world how good the food there is.
Nice.
So I would definitely have to say that as far as like my favorite meal that of all time, like it's definitely that, or it's probably, if it's not that, because I do go there pretty often, probably the steakhouse at Caesar's Palace.
Mhm.
We went there once and we bowled good that week or something, and we had a really really nice meal at Caesar's Palace at the steakhouse. I can't remember what it's called, but that one was definitely very very high up on the list as well.
Mhm. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna change this up a little bit. During the off season, party all night or quiet night at home?
Both,
I
just
like it.
depends on the week.
I get it.
I mean, I'll go out with my friends and have
Mhm.
fun throughout the week and the weekend, and I have weeks that I just come home and do nothing. So it kind of is all over the place. It just kind of depends on how I'm feeling and what's going on. And a lot of my friends have full-time jobs too, so it also depends on who's available to do what.
Yep.
But I like taking trips too. I'll go out for a week and
Mhm.
just spend a week with my buddy. Like I have a buddy in Arkansas, Brad. I go spend week with him, and we go out during the week and have a good time. You know, I fly down to Port Charlotte usually once a year, stay down there for a week, and we go out and do stuff and have fun. You know, I have buddy of mine in Lubbock, Cody. You know, I went out there for 2 weeks last year in between 2 different tournaments, and we played golf, had a good time, went out and did some stuff. And then, you know, I go down and see my parents in Houston too and spend time with them, and we go out and do some things too. So it really, you know, but I do like my downtime too. So I really would say it's a good mix of both for sure. But I definitely like going out and having fun too.
That's awesome. What are you binge watching right now?
Nothing. I don't like getting into TV shows. You know what I binge watch? I binge watch the sneaker YouTubers. That's what I binge watch. The guy Rami the Icon. I watch all his videos. I love him. Like his in-store buying and things like that. I think his videos are great. Yeah. I don't do shows because I just get distracted too easily. Like I watch a season, I'm like, oh, it's really good, and then I'm like, God, there's 6 more seasons. But then I start traveling and I can't watch it, so then I kind of fall out of it, and so. Not super big on binge watching shows. I pretty much watch sports. I pretty much watch sporting events or sneaker stuff is pretty much what I spend my time watching. Or now AJ's got me into the sports card deal, so now I watch all that stuff too. So
that's awesome. I recommend binge watching this podcast, by the way. What's your what do you do to take your mind off of bowling?
Usually just something I enjoy. I like playing golf. I play golf. I've gotten really into golf a lot. I'll go hit golf ball. I'll just go to the driving range and hit golf balls. I always try and play with my friends when I'm in Houston or I'm out of town or whatever. So definitely probably golf is probably like my biggest like escape from not worrying about bowling.
Okay. How good are you a scratch golfer?
Absolutely not. I'm horrible. I mean, I'm not horrible, but I'm pretty bad. I shoot right around 100. I'm definitely not good by any means. Ooh. I can get the ball from A to B, and I'm not like a hack where I'm going out and shooting 150, but I'm definitely in the 95 to 105 range.
Does EJ take you golfing with him?
No, I don't think. I don't think EJ would have fun playing golf with me.
Oh man, that's too bad.
Yeah,
that's too bad. What's your favorite vacation spot?
I like going to Vegas, honestly. Like, I know it's so cliche, but I love going to Vegas. There's always something to do. I like gambling. I like sitting in the sports book and just watching games. You know, I can go to the pool anytime I want. I can get any type of food that I want. I can go to a show. I can go to a sporting event. You can do anything. Like anything you want to do, you can do there. You know, if you just want to go have a couple of drinks and sit by the pool, go have you walk downstairs from your hotel, go to the pool, have a couple of drinks. You know, you want to go gamble a little bit. You want to go watch sports, go sit in the sports book. I'll tell you, one of the funnest things for me to do is just go in the sports book, sit there and just watch all the games because they have all the games on the TVs. I love it because I just love sports so much. So I really do truly love going to Vegas just because there's just, you can literally do whatever you want. You walk downstairs from your hotel and you're like, what do I want to do? Okay, this is where I need to go.
Man, I'm telling you, Vegas is on a bucket list for me because of you guys. Seriously.
I love it. It's truly a fun, and it's very easy to get wrapped up, you know, there with the gambling and the spending money and stuff, you know, but it truly is a fun experience. You know, I mean, there's so many, you know, like for me, there's so many sneaker stores, there's so many sports card stores, you know, like you said, you can go to the pool, you can get a drink, you can eat any type of food you want to eat, and there's a good restaurant somewhere. You know, you can just walk and see the sights. You know, you can go hiking, you can go rock climbing. I mean, you can do anything that you want to do within 15 minutes of being in Vegas, you know, without going further than 15 minutes. So it truly is a really fun place.
Do you stay at South Point?
Yeah, because that's where I do most. So I like staying at South Point because usually we stay there for nationals. And so for me, It's fun staying there because like a lot of my friends bowl around the time that we're there. So I can just like get out of my room and go watch them bowl and just walk up there. I don't have to drive over there and park and do all that. And so it's just convenient. And so I do most of my gambling there. And so I usually get free rooms there. So that's generally where we always stay. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to fanboy for a second because I love this. All right. South Point, is the bowling alley really in the building?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both of them are. There's two.
There's the 60 Lane Plaza, which
there's the plaza and the bowling center. They're both in the building. Yeah.
If I brought my stuff, can I bowl in the plaza or do I have to bowl a tournament there?
Half the bowl tournament. They don't do open play up there.
Shit. Okay. All right. Wow. How far? What floor is the plaza? What floor is the center? Like, where is everything?
So the center is on the main casino floor. Basically, so the main casino floor, there's a walkway to get to the hotel rooms, and
Okay.
in the middle of that walkway, there's an escalator and an elevator that takes you up to the bowling center. It's on the second floor. The bowling plaza is down another hallway that runs parallel to that hallway where the bowling center's on, and you have to walk all the way to the back of the building, go up two different escalators to get to the bowling plaza. It's actually above the equestrian center where they do all the bull riding and the horses and all that stuff.
Wow. I mean,
Mhm.
that's how many? That's got to be 100,000 square feet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Wow.
the plaza's massive.
I bet. I think we covered this, but what's your favorite sports team?
Red Sox, Patriots, Celtics, Boston, everything.
You left out one.
I cheer for the Bruins. I cheer for the Bruins because they're a Boston team. But I can't name 3 people that play for the Bruins, so I don't consider myself a fan because I don't know anything about hockey. But I cheer for the Bruins just because they're Boston. But I don't consider myself a fan because I can't even name 3 people on the team.
I'm just saying we should hang out. Be all right. We'll hang out and we'll have a good time, and I'll show you.
You can teach me about hockey.
Yeah, absolutely. Least favorite sports team?
Yankees. Not even close. Yankees.
Wow.
The Giants, the New York Football Giants are a close second because they stole 2 Super Bowls away from the Patriots that they had no business ever winning. But the Yankees are far and away.
Yeah, definitely. What do you want people to understand about professional bowlers that they refuse to understand? And I mean the people that don't there are people that are like that don't bowl that are like, oh, pro bowlers aren't athletes, and that just bugs the piss out of me.
That's the part that I want people to understand is like how much like athleticism it actually does take to like compete at a high level of bowling. It's like, yeah, you can go bowl 3 games with your friends, but go bowl 16 games in one day competing and then tell me how you feel the next day. And like that's what I wish people would understand about about how much like it does take athleticism to be a professional bowler.
Let me ask you this, because I know that has there ever been a novice that you've met that you've told about your injury and you told what you do that isn't very nice, and they say, "Oh, geez, what the hell's your problem? Go suck it up. Just go. Why are you going to the hospital? Go suck it up." Has anybody ever said?
No, because the majority of people don't know what it is.
Right.
But the people that do know what it is, they
Mm.
they realize like how serious it is because like, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but like being flat honest, like if I didn't get it taken care of, it could have killed me. Like,
Yeah,
it is
that's
that
not dramatic.
serious. And
That's the truth.
so the people that to me, the people that know what it is know how serious it is, or they just don't know what it is. So I haven't ran into anybody who's like, oh, suck it up, it's not a big deal, whatever, because they either know or they don't. And if they don't know, they're just like, well, I don't even know what that is. So, okay.
Mm-hmm. So, man, listen, I've had the greatest time talking to you. I think you're a hero. You may not, but I do. I believe in you. I want you to do great. Thanks for coming on. Really
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Tomorrow night, you got Bill
Really
Orlikowski. You know him, right?
Oh yeah. Real good guy. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then next Tuesday, some guy named EJ Raddick from ESPN. No, I mean EJ Tackett is going to be on. I'm making that announcement right now. EJ will be on next Tuesday, the 19th, at 8 p.m. So that's going to be fun. What trouble am I getting in with that one? Do you know?
I mean, you're going to be talking about everything he's won for about an hour and a half. I mean, that guy won everything. He's made every show the last 3 years, and like what he's doing is truly unbelievable. The run he's on, and so you're gonna get to spend most of your time talking about every single thing that he's won the last couple of years. So, but he's a good dude. I like EJ a lot, honestly. Like I do. I like EJ. I think he's very humble for how good he is, and I like the way that he, and honestly, all the guys. I mean, I like the way he treats people. I like the way he carries himself. I think he's a really, really good guy. And, that goes for the majority of every single person that's out there. I really respect all the guys out there for how they carry themselves and how they handle themselves and how they treat the fans, overall. I feel like they're very, very respectable for how the majority of them act.
That's awesome, man. Hey, listen, Anthony, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I'm actually surprised not to be a jerk. I'm surprised I haven't called you Sean yet. I was so afraid that I was going to do that because you guys are twins,
it
right?
It happens all the time. Tom Hess is the worst. Tom Hess can't figure it out to save his life. I'll bowl a tournament with him, and we'll be in the middle of game 5, and he'll call me Sean. I'm like, bro, I've been bowling with you all day. He just can't. I love Tom to death, but he can't figure it out.
Because you guys are twins, right?
Yeah, we're identical twins.
Well, I can't. Well, I'm probably going to do the same thing because I can't do Mike and Darren.
Oh,
I struggle.
And they're not even twins.
Oh, they look so much alike.
Yeah, they're not twins. They're actually, Mikey's like 2 or 3 years younger than Darren, I think.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, man, do me a favor. If you've had fun, tell all your pro bowling friends, like AJ, I'd love to get him on.
For sure.
DJ, I'd love to get him on. Man, I hope you had fun. I hope I didn't burn you too much.
No, I enjoyed it very much so.
Well, you have a great night, and everybody tune in tomorrow night, including you, for Bill Orlikowski. Anthony, have a great night, my friend.
All right. Thank you, brother.
All right, buddy. Bye.